Welcome to QCC's Face the Region. Face the Region is produced by Quinsigamond Community College to assist our region in attaining educational, economic, and personal prosperity. Now, here's your host, WCRN's Hank Stoltz.
Good afternoon, I'm Hank Stoltz, and this is QCC's Face the Region on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. Today we are with the Assistant Dean of Student Life and Leadership, Jonathan Miller is with us. Also the Assistant Dean of Students, Kevin Butler, joins us, and a very recent QCC alum, Giovanni Cruz, is with us as well. And we're going to be talking about all the great things that you can do here on campus. The last few weeks we've been talking about some of the great classes, particularly a lot of the science-oriented classes here at QCC. Now we'll get to some of the real fun things that are happening. And Jonathan, why don't I turn to you? So Dean Miller, people want to come, they want to have some fun, they want to get engaged, they want to be part of what's going on at QCC. How do they do that? What are some of their opportunities?
So there's a number of different ways to get involved at QCC. I always tell students to first start with the Fuller Student Center. The Fuller Student Center is the student center, just as it says, but it's where the Student Life Office is housed. We work with all the clubs and organizations on campus. In addition, we do a number of programs throughout the academic year, both social and educational. We also work with the athletics department, new student orientation. And so we have a number of different leadership opportunities in our area that we can assist students with to get them more engaged and more involved on campus.
Is there something, and maybe if I could, I'll turn to Dean Butler here. And Kevin, is the fact that students don't live here on campus at QCC, is it harder to get them involved? Is it about the same, or is that a challenge because they're commuting each day?
I would say it's definitely a little bit of a challenge. I think we have to be very strategic about when, we offer programs for the student community. I think lunchtime is always great, so we can add refreshments to whatever we're doing. Also, we have to pick the right kinds of programs that, maybe we've surveyed the students and had detailed conversations with them about what they want to see offered through the student life lens, and try to bring those things to life on the campus.
When you do those surveys, what is it that you most often get, aside from food with everything? What is it, Jonathan, that people say that they want to see?
The traditional things you see at any other four-year institution: comedians, game shows, concerts is always big, which is a challenge for us given budget constraints and some of the facility constraints that we have here. Concerts are always a challenge, but students want to see those types of opportunities. Dances, some of the night and evening time programming that we offer on a smaller basis than a traditional four-year, but we do.
Mm-hmm. Below where we do the program is the cafeteria at QCC, and they have that huge bulletin board when I go down there, where there's a million things to be able to do, and a lot of it is very interesting, as you said, but it really is a wide variety.
Absolutely. We try to offer sort of a wide variety to students, understanding our demographic, the types of students that we have here. We have students who have families and other obligations outside of the college. And so that variety comes with trying to play to the overall student population.
And Giovanni Cruz is with us, and he's just graduated, so he was having some fun with some of these events. Gio, tell us a little bit about this, okay? So you came to QCC. What were some of the things that got you involved and you enjoyed?
So me getting involved on campus definitely started with going into the Fuller Student Center. I was just there hanging out with friends, and there was two people who came up to me and was like, hey, join clubs, do this, do that. One of them being Jonathan Miller. And I got involved in dance and a group called Quack. It's the activities committee here on campus. And through that, I actually made a lot of new friends, and it got me more open to be involved on campus. One of the big events that we have, I don't know if you guys are planning to do it, but was the Cultural Food Fest. That was when we would get foods from around the world and showcase them for the students to try them. It was actually our most popular event.
Isn't that something? I'm sensing a theme with the food.
Yeah.
People like the, people
free
like
food.
The food, definitely.
Free food for students is a big deal. Anything free.
You mentioned QUAC. What does that stand for?
So it's the Quinsigamond Activities Committee. What we do is we help Jonathan plan all the activities on campus. It was definitely a lot of fun, and it's actually what opened the door for me to be interested in working for Jonathan, he reached out to me and he was like, hey, do you want to work for me? And I said yes. So I worked with him for 2.5 years. And I really got involved in student life, and it's actually what I want to do with my career. So that's what I want to do.
Isn't that fantastic? So, I mean, so there's a whole opportunity that was opened up. Jonathan, tell me a little bit about that. I find that pretty interesting. So you were able to see Giovanni, and you see a spark there or whatever, and I'm sure with other students as well. But now here's somebody who's gotten a career through their ability to work with you. Other students who are working with you, what are some of those opportunities?
I think that it's important. One of the things that I was provided the opportunity as an undergraduate student is to learn more about being a student life professional and working in student affairs. And it was sort of what drew me to the profession. And I find that working with students, there are a number of students who come through that I feel like have the skill and ability and the interest that might be drawn to student life work, student affairs work. And so when we see those students, we're always open to providing more leadership opportunities, more opportunities for engagement, so that they might consider that as a career path. I think often that students don't realize that this is a career and there's a path to it and there's degrees that go behind it. And providing students with that type of opportunity is also important in the work that I do.
All right, because we have just a minute left in this segment, why don't I stay with you, Jonathan? Anything really exciting coming up that might give us a little bit of an idea of some of the things that you offer here at Quinsigamond Community College?
If I had to talk about one particular event coming up, one of the ones that we have coming up is Pack the Stands, and it's an event that revolves around spirit on campus and getting students engaged in the athletic piece. And so what we do is we choose one game during the academic year where both the men's and women's basketball teams play. We engage them, also engaging students in contests, the Wyvern contest, the person who has the most school spirit contest. We've done in the past a half-court shot for $10,000, and so we've randomly drawn somebody from the crowd who gets the opportunity to win $10,000 by sinking a half-court shot. And so engaging students in those opportunities for sort of spirit and tradition here at QCC are also an important piece of what we do.
Jonathan Miller is with us. He is the Assistant Dean of Student Life and Leadership. Also, Assistant Dean of Students Kevin Butler is with us, and Giovanni Cruz, who is a recent graduate of QCC, with us as well as we talk about some of these opportunities for student engagement. And coming up, we'll talk about some of the more than 40 clubs that are here on campus at Quinsigamond Community College as Face the Region continues on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. Face the Region rolls on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. I'm Hank Stoltz. Jonathan Miller, the Assistant Dean of Student Life and Leadership, is here with us. QCC alum, class of 15, so a very recent alumni. Giovanni Cruz is with us as well, talking about some of the great things going on campus. And we're going to begin now with Assistant Dean of Students Kevin Butler. And Dean, as we've been hearing about some of these great opportunities for student engagement, I want to talk about some of these 40 plus clubs that are on campus as well. But maybe just from your viewpoint as Dean of Students, an overview of how all of this fits into the campus life. Jonathan had talked to us just a few minutes ago about the way in which here you think about, you get your certificates. We talk about this, many weeks here on Face the Region. But here's a way in which you get involved, and this can lead to a career path as well.
Absolutely. That's how I got my start, working in student affairs as an undergraduate, sponsoring student activities, working in residential life, and that has spawned a career for me in student affairs, working at various colleges and universities. The ability to get involved in things like the psychology club or Phi Theta Kappa, or be a member of Student Senate, or any of the multicultural clubs. It gives students a sense of belonging, which I think is very, very important. Even though this isn't a residential community, it still has to have a sense of student engagement, student involvement that is sort of driving the college's mission of students first. And I think when we do that successfully, we find a way to sustain our student population, retain students to come back to continue their education at QCC, and have a very lively and vibrant college community.
Wow, that's great. When we talk about the importance of student life, when students come and you're interacting with them, How much when they sort of first come on campus, or is it maybe after they've already signed up for the classes, do they really start to talk to you and start to ask about some of the opportunities for them to engage with other students and how to go about it?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much right away. I mean, I recall having conversations with students when they're on their tours. If I have them be stopping by and there's a tour guide that knows me, they will introduce me as the assistant dean of students, and parents or prospective students will, ask them about what's going on campus. And then opportunities to speak with them and engage them during the orientation process is really important. And Jonathan runs that program, and, it's 3 or 4 days of very intense conversations, and we're trying to, give them all the information they need to be successful at the college. So that really gets the ball rolling.
All right, well, let's pick up with the Assistant Dean of Student Life and Leadership, Jonathan Miller, on that. So right away, then, a lot of that conversation begins, and then we'll jump into some of the clubs as well. So when people are coming for that orientation, are they asking about, is there a theater club because they were in dramatics in high school? Is there, a way for them to sing or dance, as Gio was telling us about?
Oh, absolutely. Right away, students are asking about how to get involved, where to get involved, what can they get involved in. One of the things that we do as a part of our orientation process, we hire a group of students as orientation leaders that come from diverse backgrounds, a diverse group of clubs, things like that. And so when students are asking those questions, they can speak to what their experience has been like here at QCC and their involvement in leadership opportunities that they've been given an opportunity to participate in based on being here and being an engaged student.
So I said a few just off the top of my head that I figured, there probably are, for example, theater or music. What are some, 40 plus, that's the number of clubs. What are some of the other things? What are maybe some of the more unusual ones that there might be on campus as well?
I would say not necessarily unusual, but one of the ones that we find to be particularly popular is the Anime Club. Tends to be really popular here at QCC. We have a fashion club at QCC. We have, the traditional things like Student Senate, the Open Door newspaper. We have clubs like, we have several honoraries. We have PTK. We have Psi Beta, which is our psychology honorary, and we have 2 other organizations currently working toward honorary clubs in the Human Services Program and Disability Services. And so outstanding students who may take advantage of services through disability services also are looking to create an honorary on campus. So we're always open on campus to providing new opportunities in terms of leadership and involvement when it comes to clubs.
Giovanni, this seems like a good place for you to kind of jump in as well. You had mentioned earlier you got involved in a dance club. What are some of the other things maybe that you jumped into?
Oh, there's a really long list. So I was part of CSU, which is the Christian Student Union. I was in Student Senate. I was a vice president and was president before I graduated. I did dance. I did QAC, which, like they said, was the Quinsigamond Activities Committee. And I feel like there was another. Brothers and Keepers, that's right. I was a member of Brothers and Keepers.
Oh, well, what's Brothers and Keepers?
Brothers and Keepers is where we would join the club and we would be paired with a mentor. And it was for male retention. Is that how you pronounce it? Okay, male retention. Oh. So I got to meet with my mentor probably once a month or every other week, and then we would do group activities together. They did some outings. Did we do bowling? I feel like we did bowling and a lot of other activities together. It's really cool. I enjoyed it.
It seems like a team building or ways in which you're able to bond. That's fantastic. You mentioned politics. You were the student body president?
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that, about political life here on campus and the way in which, what are some of the things that you actually do through the Student Senate or when you're the president?
We basically were the voices for the students, so we would try to help with policies and just trying to get the word out there. It was really hard at first because some of the students didn't even know we existed, so that was our first step, was trying to let them know that we're here. And I think they've done a really good job about it now after I left, because I see like flyers everywhere saying meet the Senate, and I think that's a really good.
This does seem to be, Jonathan, to bring it back to you for a moment. This does again seem to be part of the challenge. It's it's a large student body, it's a diverse student body, but it's also a student body in which I suppose you could go through your year, your 2 years, 3 years, however long it is that you're here, all these different age gaps. you could never get involved, I suppose, if you wanted to, but it must also be difficult to be able to reach all of the students. The student who just drives in, goes to class, gets back in the car, and you have to find a way to reach them and let them know, as Giovanni was talking about, that some of these things even exist.
One of the things that's important is that we sort of make efforts to try to get everybody engaged on campus, whether it's through programming or other opportunities. One of the things that's important to me is that we sort of hit programming in pockets. So if we know a portion of our student population has families, we do programming that focus around family engagement, outdoor family movies, things like that might engage a family, as opposed to your traditional 18 to 22-year-old student. Last year, for example, we did 103 programs. So we're offering programs and events on a regular basis that sort of run the gamut of anything that you're looking for. And so it's important to me that we provide those opportunities for all of our students.
Terrific. Jonathan Miller is the Assistant Dean of Student Life and Leadership. Kevin Butler, the Assistant Dean of Students, is also with us, as is Giovanni Cruz, QCC alumni, class of 15, who's talking about some of his experiences here and how he's still here and working because of some of the things that he was involved in through the student engagement that grabbed him and held on to him here at QCC. Face the Region continues on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN, straight ahead. QCC's Face the Region on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. I'm Hank Stoltz. We're speaking with Giovanni Cruz. He's with us. He's a recent graduate of Quinsigamond Community College. Also the Assistant Dean of Students, Kevin Butler, joining us in this conversation. And the Assistant Dean of Student Life and Leadership, Jonathan Miller, is with us. And Jonathan, we've heard about all these great clubs. How do people get involved?
So there's a number of ways to get involved. Like I said earlier, the best one way to sort of get involved on campus is to stop by the Fuller Student Center and engage with the student life staff. We're all there and equipped to assist you with getting involved in any clubs and organizations that you're interested in getting involved in. We do offer club fair events at the beginning of each semester of some type, where we have all the clubs on campus who are represented, where students can come and learn more about the different clubs and the different opportunities within those organizations. So we offer that, but outside of that, that point at the beginning of each semester, we are constantly working with students to get them involved in different clubs and organizations on campus by connecting them with club officers or club advisors, faculty and staff advisors on campus, to make sure that they're able to receive the sort of engagement and connection that they're looking for from a particular club or organization.
Giovanni, it seems as if from some of the things that you said that Jonathan, for example, kind of reached out to you. Was that helpful? I mean, did you sort of need somebody to reach out to you to get involved in some of these things? Would you have gotten involved yourself if there hadn't been that outreach?
So yeah, no, if I did not have anybody come reach out to me, I would not have. I was a quiet and shy kid coming in, and I was a non-traditional student. So it felt awkward for me to be back at school at an older age. So I was like, I'm just going to keep to myself. But having someone reach out to me and see an interest in me definitely made me want to come out of my shell more. And I think it helped me a lot with just being out and open with people, because I was really, really quiet. Like talking, I spoke at graduation, so that was like 3,000 people, and I would never have imagined, like, you could have asked me my first day of school and I would have said no.
Isn't that great? Boy, or even today you wouldn't notice, certainly from this conversation that we're having.
I wouldn't have showed up.
So you really just kind of blossomed through all of these different programs. Yeah, that's terrific. Because there is it's lifelong learners here. So I mean, you really can have somebody who's 18, you can have somebody who's 28, 38, whatever the case may be. That must be interesting in the clubs to be able sometimes, I guess, to have some of that age range.
Yeah, I think it's really cool just because you have different perspectives. People have been here for however many years. Some people are a lot older. They have different life experiences. So it's good. It's like a nice big melting pot.
Yeah. When you got involved in some of the clubs and you started to meet people, was it a way in which you were able to bond through these clubs, and have you made some lifelong friends doing some things outside of the QCC experience? Yeah,
definitely. One person in particular that comes to mind is my friend Will. A lot of people used to get us confused because they said we look alike. I still yet to see the similarity, but even Jonathan, we both worked for Jonathan, and Jonathan would sometimes call me Will or call him Gio, and we'd be like, we're not the same person. So like, we would have to change our choice of color and what we wear. Like, it was, yeah.
Isn't that
Him
funny?
and I definitely we still stay in touch.
That's great. How do you start a club? How does a club get started here at QCC?
So it's actually a very simple process to start a club. What you want to do is come to the Student Life office. We have a packet of information that we'll share with you. We'll go through it with you. And so essentially what it takes is 15 students who are going to sign on who say they have an interest in having this club or organization on campus. You need to have a faculty or staff advisor who will sign on to say they're willing to advise the organization. You need to elect officers. So you'll elect at least a president and a treasurer for the organization. You have to develop a constitution. Once you've completed all of those, you turn that packet into the Student Life office. You are put on a semester-long probation period, which means you can operate as an organization on campus. You can't do any fundraising or you don't have any money, but you can operate, you can have meetings, get the club going, draw interest in the organization. After that semester wait is up, they will meet with Student Senate. Student Senate has the final approval of all clubs and organizations on campus. So once they meet with Student Senate and they receive their approval, they become an official organization at the college.
Boy, that's great. Assistant Dean of Students Kevin Butler is with us as well. And if we could, Dean, why don't we wrap up with you? Just maybe a little bit more of that overview of how important it is to student life, to your total experience here at Quinsigamond Community College to get involved.
Sure, I mean, absolutely. And one example I could give is the theater club. We have a lot of students from this area who come from the Burncoat and other high schools in the area, and they've had some experience with the arts. So now that we have the theater club up and running, they have an opportunity to come in, be a part of a full stage production or 10-minute plays that we put on. They have a theater club meeting every week where they do theater games and trust games, and now that has led to a music and theater option under liberal arts. So the college is growing. We're making great strides, and students want to be involved. They want to feel like that there's an entity out there that cares about them and their success. And we're trying to show them through the student life process that QCC cares. And we want them to be successful not only here, but beyond.
Yeah, really, I mean, proud graduates of QCC, and that sort of plays into it. Again, it's two mentions of where we actually taped the show today, one being that we're above the cafeteria, and I see that board with all of those great events that are happening here. The other is as you walk down the hallways to get here, and you see all of these people, very well-known names such as State Senator Mike Moore, who graduated from QCC and all of their great accomplishments. Mm-hmm. And all of them, of course, part of this student life.
That's right.
It's terrific. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it. Thank you to Jonathan and Giovanni as well. And again, the Assistant Dean of Students, Kevin Butler, with us today. Giovanni Cruz is a recent graduate of QCC and now gainfully employed here, working at QCC through some of the opportunities that he had with student engagement, and the Assistant Dean of Student Life and Leadership, Jonathan Miller. As always, thank you for joining us. I'm Hank Stoltz on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. This is QCC's Face the Region.
This has been Quinsigamond Community College's Face the Region with your host, Hank Stoltz. Join us again next weekend on AM 830 WCRN.